I hope you enjoy this screen, because today we're gonna be talking about abilities, talents, and expertises. So let's start with ability. First, let me tell you what abilities are. Well, abilities are skills that once you use will impact either you, the player, or the world around you. For example, I have an ability that lets me dash and sends me forward, or in this case, upward, in the direction I'm looking. Or maybe I can heal myself or deal damage to the mobs around me. So abilities are, you press a button and something happens. And normally abilities cost 1 kill point that you gain every time you level up to upgrade, except for a few. Those being Rampage, Ghost Walk, Javelin, and Summon Eternal, that cost 2. Afterwards, we have talents. And talents are a bit different from abilities in that they don't give you an active use, but rather are passive stats that you can unlock. For example, you can increase your movement speed by 20% for each level of this ability, or you can increase your level of haste. Not only that, if we look on the right, the cost is not the same for every talent. Not only that, even inside of a single talent, the cost might change at higher levels. Now if we look at the talent tree, first off, sometimes you see these red arrows, and what do they mean? In this case is, you can either take Last Stand or Berserking. You can either choose one or the other, never both. And the same goes for these two over here and these 6 over on this side too. And you also have these 3 little squares, with one being Masteries, other being Lucky Hit, and the other being Javelin Enhancements. And these are groups, and each group can have a number of slotted skill levels, not number of dots gained, because dots is the level, and as I said, cost might be different. So in this case, for example, in Lucky Hit, the cost for each upgrade is 2 skill points. So you can only have 3 talents of those from here, because once you take 3 talents from this box over here, you're gonna have already spent the 6 skill points that can be allotted to this box. Mastery can get 10, and so can Javelin Enhancements. As for the others that are singled out like this, just a square with nothing related by arrows or the box, well, you can spend the points however you want inside of them, and can even take all of them at once. If you have the skill points for it, that is. But how do you get skill points? Easy. By leveling up. As you can see, I went from level 3 to 4, therefore I got 1 skill point that I can use however I see fit. But let's say that you took a skill that you don't want. For example, I took a level of heal, but I got my vial and now I don't have my heal. So I just need to get myself an Orb of Regret and use it. And I get a regret point. And regret points can be used to regret a skill that you learned. But let's say I regret one of the skill points I took, or one of the abilities I took. For example, Javelin. Javelin cost me 2 points to upgrade, but I only need to use 1 regret point to regret it. However, Speed costs 4, but also needs 4 regret points to unspec from Speed. And how do you get regret orbs? Well, you craft them with regret nuggets into regret chunks, and from those regret chunks, you surround one perfect Benitite, and then you get a regret orb, or orb of regret to be more precise. Not only that, you also have skill altars, and skill altars, for example, let you take one of your builds and upgrade your current build into it, so that if you then want to change build, you can just go into another tab and load your abilities and talents for a cost of some regret orbs. But let's say that you want to regret all of your build. That might be a bit costly on your regret orbs. So I do recommend to have one tab of the skill altar with just one skill that you'll know you'll always take. In this case, I took over here the dash skill, so that you can regret all of your points for fewer orbs. I don't know if this is something that the dev team wants you to abuse though, because it does seem kind of powerful, and I think there should be an item like the Neuralizer that regrets all of your skills used in a single use, because if not, I just kind of feel dirty using this kind of trick, that I don't know if it is even not an exploit. Now for expertises. Well, expertises are a bit different from skills that instead of gaining one every level, you gain one every 5 levels. So now that I'm level 5, I have my first unspent expertise point. that I can go into the expertise tab and read about everything that is over here and see what I need at the moment, or not really at the moment, just something that you think it's gonna be useful. Some recommended ones for the start is unfortunate, however, I think more than that, having the 3 levels in Bounty Hunter and maybe even Jeweler might be better. Because, well, yeah, having extra levels of fortune is nice and all, you can simply just go for more plentiful catalysts into your crystal. And if my survival world is anything to go by, you don't need all that many hours. Yes, you're gonna need a lot, but you can also get them easily, especially in certain teams. So you can go see what of each expertise does and just take your expertise points and use them. Once you reach level 100, you're gonna have 20 of those expertise points, and as you can see, there are way more than 20 slots to spend your expertise points on. So try to think ahead of time of what you need and what you want, because let's say you took something you don't like. Well, you're gonna have to use one of these neuralizers. And how do you get a neuralizer? You're gonna have one by completing a quest on your quest book, but you can also craft them. This is the crafting recipe, which is gonna take an Omega Pog, a Resilient Focus, and Opportunistic Focus. First off, these two can only be found inside of the black market or treasure chests inside of treasure rooms, so you also need a treasure key. And for the Omega Pog, well, each Omega Pog is gonna take one chunk of each of the unique gems, and each of them is gonna cost you 72 of those unique gems, not to mention 9 perfect black opals. So try to make it so you don't need to craft one of these because they are expensive. Really, really expensive, even for late game. But that should be all for today. This one is going to be a bit shorter, and that is because there is not much to talk about. I could go and tell you, oh, this skill is better than this one because it deals more damage or it's more useful. But honestly, I'm currently doing something like that in my going over skills for attack damage that I've already done. I want to after that do something for ability power where I'm gonna go over abilities like Nova or Fireball or maybe even Smite. And afterwards I want to go over the utility skills like Taunt or Empower and those like that. But honestly, I think most skills are currently good, and by the time you get higher levels into them, you're going to be able to make various types of builds, all of them very useful and very strong. That will let you go over the vaults. So don't think too much about it, just try out skills, just try out builds, because overall, all the skills are currently in a good state for use, or most of them are. I don't think Summon Eternal is still. So just go over and try them. As for talents, maybe there are some that are more useful than others. For example, let's say Witchery if you want to go over and try to get as many soul shards as you want. But this is also easy to regret, so just try to take some regretors once you want to try new stuff. And the only one that I think it's far and above anything else, it's gonna be these two skills. Speed, because having well, more movement speed means that you can explore the vault faster, and haste means that you can break both chests or ores faster inside of the vault, and so you can break, and you can also break spawns faster in challenge rooms. So this is gonna be very, very useful. Anyway, that is gonna be all for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this has been useful to you. Tell me also, what else do you want to hear about? Because I have 2 more topics I want to talk about before I finish this beginner's course for Vault Hunters. Before I go into more intermediate stuff, but that is also gonna be rarer and it's gonna take more time between uploads for those, as well as I'm going back to play more on my single player world. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.